What's that? Good work. The video is live right now.
Oh, yeah? Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, all this stuff off. Do you have the microphone up here now?
Yeah. See there, it's so it will go right here. Okay, because it feeds into the box.
Right.
So I'll put it on the table after everyone sits down. what we're doing, you wanted to talk about the well, you wanted to get them to move forward with advertising.
Yes.
So that's something we're going to talk about, and then you ask Lisco, or you'll say, make a move, then have staff and the solicitor do that.
Yeah.
Move forward with the document. And there's no handout for the pension plan, that's just a motion for us to go ahead and change the also. That's just insurance quotes, that's what I was talking about there. I did put the one thing in there from Burkeville, but that's all I have. And obviously it's all just talking, the tree trimming is in there, the police is in there, training. I don't know what was in the budget, it's like not done. So I guess we'll say, I think what we should do is, maybe you need to say your expectations, what everyone needs to do for this budget in time for the meeting.
Right.
And then you can get with me, give me
Because I
numbers.
said something to Sharon about,
She has her numbers on it. I can do an extra column for her, just for her numbers. But she did say, she'll talk about it tonight, she goes, there's a line item missing because it's.
she didn't have it.
No, just because that's a ton. She's like, see this SH, yeah.
Oh, she's here.
On the police.
Oh, no, that's what I did this.
Yeah, yeah. But she said there's something twisted in there, she's gonna get with me, she'll talk about
Yes,
it.
it's right here.
That needs to be split apart and needs a new line item. So
This is the number on that one, got a lot,
right.
and it's because the vest was taken out.
Yeah, right, even though we have a credit for that time, so that's not
Right.
showing. Okay, yeah, no, I'll talk to, yeah, let's go over it tonight and get your expectations.
I know we had a fee, to the well, had a fee,
There's a fee in the back, and
it's just the permit.
that's the first application. That's a whole document that I have. Is there a fee in the
That was
back?
for the diesel.
Okay.
That,
That.
we're not gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was,
That was some extra work.
okay, that was,
Yeah.
good. So I can get those minutes now, put these minutes through.
Yeah. Yeah, it's page 5, the last page, which is where it changed.
Yeah.
So you want to throw out the other ones for you? Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully
but
not.
I really like what you do. Tell everyone, including me, and then what we need before the budget meeting, so we have something to look at. Because this is just, and then are we gonna get with the tools guy, supervisors?
Yes,
Are we gonna
we-
meet him? Do we need to help with that?
Well, we need to set an appointment with him, come in and talk about us.
Okay.
The way our confused. Absolutely.
So I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, see what he has to say, what time we're going
I'll
to.
send him Josh's quotes and I'll tell him we need to come back out and look at our roads.
quit. How you doing, sir? I quit. I mean it this time. You're alive. Well, that's true, but you know the issue with the facts. There. You get I'm in here if you want it. All right. You that way.
He's sitting over here.
So, how you doing?
I'm sober so far.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know. Everybody got wrong, right?
Papa said they gotta drink this whole thing every day.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna leave you.
So it's going to be real fast when we're ready.
Just that one? It's not mine. It's going to say. Oh, this is the update.
Yes. After you get it.
Yeah.
Any agenda?
Oh, thank you. I looked pretty fast there to get in. Oh, thank you. What do you want to sit down here? No, I'm not right here.
Where is it? It's thrown square. Just throw out here.
Good evening.
I guess you got my voicemail. I got yours and you got mine.
Yes, I did.
That was an easy one.
Yeah. There you go.
Not hard easy.
At Wendy's suggestion, which was a good one.
I wasn't sure if it was one of the exams. But it was clear that it was.
Okay, so
Are we live?
That makes it confidential, but yeah. Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I told you.
That wasn't for the year, that's this month.
That's a month. That was just in July. Yes.
That's a lot.
Yeah. You,
So how do you that one?
hello.
Where's Wyatt going? Well, what's he doing? You want us to wait for the place? My name is Steve. Of the United States of America.
And he was for his sins, under indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You missed it.
That's okay.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Barlow?
Here.
Mr. Jackson?
Here.
Mr. Kyle?
Here.
Okay. Before we get started with public comment, I want everybody know that those who join us today, these are extremely long, that we do have a call in. You can call in and participate at 1-717-398-3794. The participation ID number is 66297816. It also should be down here at the front, that you'll be able to see it. So, okay, that being said, public comment.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm Brad Sanders again with this sign down here at Steelman Marker Road. I
I did some follow-up after the July 7th meeting, where we were instructed to take the petition to the state, PennDOT. I had communication with Mr. Reese, who's the acting safety supervisor for PennDOT, and he issued the authorization to place those signs. They did not make the recommendation to place the signs, and the traffic study that Mr. Barlow referred to for those signs that he actually done on March the 3rd simply gave permission for the signs to be installed on State Route 16.
Okay.
PennDOT has nothing to do with it, and they told me to take this up with the township. So that's why we're back. The traffic study that Mr. Barlow performed, there's a lot of incorrect information on there, and in the highlighted areas, in page 8, section F of that pamphlet that I gave you, a few of the questions that were given to the, or answers given to the state are really out of line. Not that would change their decision on placing those signs on Route 16, but then a couple of them, question 4, are the turning vehicles causing unreasonable delays? That answer was yes. I don't agree with that. Turning or straight through movements delaying vehicles through a progressive signal system? That answer was yes. The closest progressive signal system is in Emmitsburg. 9, is there adequate sight distance for turning vehicles on potential through vehicles? That answer was no, but there's a longer sight distance at Steelman Market Road making a left turn than there is at Orchard Road. And 10, is the turning movement frequently being made by through traffic onto a residential street to avoid downstream congestion? The answer to that was yes. There is no congestion between Steelman Market Road and Orchard Road. None at all. After we were told to take this with the state, Mr. Barlow released a letter from the Board of Supervisors on the 14th of July, and that the signs would not be removed since there has been a safety issue identified, and would not be prudent or in line with the goal of Liberty Township to have a safe place for residents. My question to this is, what safety issue has been identified at the intersection of Steelman Market that's not at any other intersection?
We already indicated in our last meeting that we have data showing that there has been accidents there, reportable accidents and non-reportable accidents, and under our consideration, we consider that a dangerous crash intersection, and that's what we determined.
Okay.
Not only by our current chief, but by our prior 3 chiefs have also identified that as a crash scene.
Okay, so that's the safety issue that you referred to apparently. But if we were instructed by you, Mr. Barlow, to take this to the state, why did you release a letter a week later stating that the signs would not be removed?
Because I talked to state too.
So you talked to the state by 7:30? Look at the dates on those emails. You talked to Mr. Reese that night.
I did not talk to Mr. Reese. I talked to Nathan.
Nathan Reese.
I did talk to him the next day, and we talked about this, and we are certain within our program have a right to do what we did, and we stick by it.
Okay, that's fine. But why were we led to the state whenever you released the letter?
As I said to you before, if you can get the state to change their
Recommendation. It's verbal. Regular email. Ms. Peck sent me the email that you stated it was only verbal. It's a formal recommendation.
But see, the thing is, we sit and talk to state many times, and everybody else we're included in. We're all in the state. We're back in the state. On 2 different occasions. And once we talk to them, their recommendations, they were returning me. They would not put a turn lane in. We said, what are our options? One option was to close the road. That's not an option. The other was, make it a one-way road. Didn't feel that was an option. No left turn. Those are the 3 options that you can do. If you want to do something, that's what we recommend you do. So when we ask them again to do a real estate and to tell us what they felt was the best interest, we felt the 3rd option, the no left turn was it, and they agreed, and we put it up.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
At the last meeting, you asked Mr. Collins if you guys were for taking the sign down, and you both said, yeah. Well,
Was reversed.
Recommendation.
Well, we're not going to reverse our study. If you guys will do our study, and I will come back and say, listen, the signs are necessary, why
the state did all this verbally and they don't give you any?
We met with their guys out here 3 years ago, and we talked about the intersection of Orchard Road and 16. We talked about the intersection of Stone and 16, about Ranch and 16. We talked about all 3 of those, and we asked them, put turn lanes in. They said, we cannot put a turn lane at Stone and we don't want to put one at Ranch.
According to Mr. Reese, that I asked him, we need to address this with the township. It's not a PennDOT issue. He said, you are correct. It's owned by Liberty Township and does not fall under PennDOT's responsibility. And then he went on to say that you submitted the traffic survey requesting the signs, which that's fine. They didn't do a road study. Maybe they did when they put Orchard Road in, but if they felt that it was necessary, they would have put the signs up.
That is what they gave us when they sent us back the study on where to put the sign up. They took it out to our 2013 study.
Okay. So remember you sent this letter back out to us responding to it a week later?
Yeah.
Okay. You made that decision, or did the board of supervisors?
Because we're going to make a decision on putting the sign up.
Okay.
This here is a courtesy to the two of you. This went out to the residents of Liberty Township.
Right.
This went out to our residents.
Right. I saw it on the webpage. I requested it, and I was told I would get a copy.
And I wanted to make sure that our residents know the reason that we put the sign up.
The only reason, and no disrespect, in the January meeting, you made a statement that you didn't feel comfortable making left turn on Steelman Market during your patrols. You said you would check into it, and as of March, you did the road study, submitted it to the state, and it came back. So if the study, has there ever been any accidents at any other intersection on Liberty Township?
You have to ask the chief.
Chief?
Lots.
Okay, so why is this intersection any
And
different?
it's still the marker in Route 16 Saturday.
Okay, so why is this intersection any different from any other intersection in the
Because the
township?
speed on that road,
Which should be reduced to 45,
right?
okay?
Okay.
Right.
40, no, not to avoid that.
Yes, they did. They reduced the speed without, no argument. They reduced the speed from PNC Bank to right past Steelman Marker, and it goes back up to 50 because of the intersections.
Okay, but the speed is still 45 miles an hour there, okay? Now, when you're coming up behind a car that stopped to make a left-hand turn, God knows people don't always pay attention. And that is a lot of the problem at that intersection, that people don't pay attention.
Well,
The speed limit is 45 miles an hour there, and I'm going to say that part of the problem is people don't follow the speed limit either, okay? Because I've sat there numerous times, now that we put those left-hand turn signs up, to watch for people making an illegal left-hand turn, and also at the same time, I put the NRAD system out there,
Right.
okay? I get tons of people that are speeding, and I write a lot of speeding tickets at that spot. Again, because that I feel that is a problem for people turning left. I'm not the only person who says also that I have a problem and feel unsafe turning my vehicle left there. I've had a lot of residents make that same comment to me, that yes, you know, we probably should make that turn even though we do, because we're constantly looking in our rearview mirror when we sit there waiting for somebody not to be paying attention and for somebody to be going too fast and for somebody to rear end us. And like I said, there's
So
just...
there's a lot of traffic going Route 16, I agree with that, and we have one secondary.
And to me, that's what makes it different than any other road.
And the only thing that we're asking in that petition, and the folks that signed that petition, is why does there have to be the no left turn? Why does it have to be? If you don't feel comfortable going down Orchard, if you're all right with it, and you turn.
I told you that. It's a liability to the township because the is the township's responsibility. So if someone gets hit by a kid and they put on notice that they can get across there, and we take no action whatsoever, we'll be in the same situation we are right now with Orchard Road and 16.
But there's no formal recommendation. There's no paperwork saying that.
Which is what we did, bro.
There's nothing formal though, if there's nothing on paper, that you're
Here's my understanding, that there's a study done that recommends that there be a left right-hand turn, no left-hand turn.
Well, no left-hand, because that was a no.
And that PennDOT approved no left-hand turn. If a half mile down the road, you have a left-hand turn lane, and you have a recommendation from your chief of police saying it's dangerous to turn there. I personally think it's dangerous to turn there, but what I think, it's just, I'm just a lay person there. We have the chief of police, you have a study done, you have PennDOT approving it. So now you want us to take that away. And what I did tonight on the way out here, I timed it. From Steelman Marker Road till I pulled into this parking lot, and I went the speed limit the whole way. Guess how long it took me? 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So you're talking about 2 minutes or 40 seconds? Now, and I don't know what the time is to come up windy Steelman Marker Road to get to this building.
Right.
But you're talking about 2 minutes and 40 inconvenience, and we've got a chief saying it should be no left-hand turn. We've got a board of supervisors voted for no left-hand turn. We got PennDOT approving that. If we change that now and take those signs down, there would have to be another study done. These are the facts. Those are the facts, that if someone is injured there seriously, those are the facts that I just presented to you, is what the attorney would present to the jury. And there's very little doubt in my mind we would lose, and we would be liable. Now, our jury...
Orchard Road, whenever you have an access, and I'm just saying, if you have an access to Steelman Marker Road, and I choose to go to Orchard Road and I'm in an accident, that's my baby. But wait, if I choose to use Steelman Marker Road and I'm in an accident, still by choice. But whenever you limit the accessibility to my residents on Steelman Marker Road, when you're limiting me to use one intersection when there's two available, that opens you up to a liability there also.
No.
Why? There's two access points. There's nothing.
Because we can do that.
Well, apparently you can do a lot of things. But the board of supervisors, I mean, my question is, when was it even discussed? After the meeting?
Discussed many times.
When was it discussed after the meeting between the board of supervisors to make a decision with that letter that they are not? Meeting that you weren't going to do it and shut me down in 5 minutes. I mean,
process, you can go on the rest of the day.
You have to shut it down and not take the people's concern.
Because I don't want to carry on let this kind of on top of it.
I don't do with every township.
This is what I presented to Carolina, because you went to Carolina too.
No, I didn't.
Okay, you did.
No, I didn't. Anybody care about it?
I'll talk with Hazlet, I'll talk with the mayor of Carolina, and I'll also talk with the assistant business manager of Carolina. And I'm about this stuff, and I'll give you an example of what I gave you guys here. And I looked at this stuff and I said, okay, I said, here's the problem. So our residents in Carolina have a problem because it's an inconvenience. And that's what your petition said, an inconvenience, not
not.
Okay.
Right, I don't know if you want to say it.
Okay.
We just said that they be removed.
So when I talked to those guys over Carolina, and I said, listen, we'll take the same I will assume the responsibility of the liability for the intersection. You know what they said?
It's like townships. How do we do that? It's Larry Township's road.
Well, we can reduce that to them.
Okay.
Because we have joint ownership of that road up the road on one side.
One side.
Yeah, Carolina side.
Okay.
But they said, no, they did not want to do that. Remember,
How do you do that when there's joint ownership? I mean, you assume 50% of the responsibility of the road.
no, they're not going to do that. Because the road has,
50% of the vote to put the sign up.
no.
That's what you're saying.
We paid for, we don't take the sign down, guys. Bottom line.
Well, we knew that, but I just want to bring to the point that we were asked to at that last meeting. False information, this traffic study, you false information. Didn't look back to it? She's the one that submitted it to the state, and you're the one. No, this traffic study right here,
is the supervisor instructing Wendy to send this to the state? And the
Instructed me to send that, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Jackson, to send that traffic study?
Yes, we did.
Did he get a traffic study?
No, not almost, because
Mr. Jackson? Did you get a traffic study on March 3rd?
We'll refer to the minutes.
I'm not sure which traffic study you're referring to.
I have a copy of that in that pamphlet that says it's completed by Walter Barlow.
Excuse me, Wendy, you wanted to say something about the minutes?
I said, I will check the meeting minutes to see which meeting where they asked to proceed with the traffic study. They asked me to apply to PennDOT for the no left.
Exactly.
And the chairman of supervisors.
So who did the study?
I just told, the state did a study in 2013.
how'd you get that information? It says you did it.
But you can send it out.
Mr. Barlow. You did a traffic study? You requested the traffic study? But Mr. Reese said that the township submitted the traffic study for permission to place the signs. It's allowed. We were blaming you all for your
Okay.
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 After that.
Nothing like that. Supervisor comments.
You got something?
I have no comment, I do have a question. Is this man, does he live in Stillwater Market Road?
On Silver Market Road, yes.
On Stillwater Road?
Yes, Brad does, yes. There you go.
I don't have any comments.
All right, Bobby?
Yeah, I'd like to remind all the citizens that whenever you're doing any building, any projects, you might want to check with the township prior to starting. If you got something in mind, and check and see if you need permits. Just to bring that to light and remind people that permits are needed for certain things, not everything you do. But we need you to check with the office to see if you need permits. That's all I have.
Hello?
Hello?
Is this still where the citizens can speak?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
Can
I heard
you?
two people speaking, I didn't hear what either one said.
Okay, state your name.
My name is Joan Jackson, I live on Petra Road.
All right.
And I have a question, if I'm able to do that.
No.
I'm very concerned about this COVID-19, and I would like to know what the policy of Liberty Township is to masking of our citizens. And I don't know whether you have one, but I would like to hear it because I am very much in favor of masking, and I do that all the time.
Well, we don't have a percentage masking.
I can't understand him. I'm sorry, I cannot understand what he's saying.
Percentage masking policy in the township as far as coming in, if you don't come into the building, you can mask if you prefer. That's what the state is saying, to wear a mask when you come in the public. So there's no option if you want to wear a mask. We necessarily support that. Due to the current COVID-19, your circle can join us by the survey and by phone. But as far as the last policy, I think the state has right now by recommending to wear a mask. But what does the township have a written policy in place?
I know the president has, and the governor has, and many other governors have. I noticed that some of the people in your employ are wearing masks, and I know I wear a mask when I go anywhere in public. I think you're all sitting pretty close to the 6-foot distance, and I would think that it would be recognized that someone should pay attention to the importance of this disease. I had a daughter who almost died with this in Delaware, and I'm very much concerned about it. And anyway, that was my first question. The second one is that I asked this about 6 or 8 months ago, and I'm on my own. So I mean, I'm on my own tonight. I don't discuss things with anybody else. So I also asked about 6 months ago, had anyone talked to Warmold and company about our development over here in Liberty Township? And I haven't heard back from anyone as to an answer as to whether anyone has contacted them or heard from them. And I would appreciate that in the next 2 or 3 months, if that would be possible, these schedules as well.
To answer the question, we have been talking about Walmart and where we're at with Walmart and the renewal and everything like that. Walmart has not reached out to us with any request to do anything, to renew any permits or renew any plans whatsoever. Mr. Lisco is in charge, has been delegated to look at that and to open up a dialogue and to see what's going on with that. And as of right now, Mr. Lisco, do you have any information for the board?
We can discuss that in executive session if you'd like.
Question about that. I have a question. Why would Mr. Lisco be in charge of that? This has been in our community for over 20 years. Why can't we deal with this on our own in our own community? Why should we turn this over to our solicitor? I'm sorry, excuse me, Mr. Lisco. I know you're a good service to our community, but this is something we've been dealing with for over 20 years, and our people in this community know more about the Wormald project than anyone else, from the ground roots up. Excuse me.
So what do you suggest, Ms. Jackson, we do?
I suggest that someone from the township, one of you supervisors that are in charge now, they contact Wormald and see what their plans are, and if they have any updates that they can give us, and towards their going forward with the project. And that's all. I'm not saying nix it. I'm not saying yay for it. I'm just asking for an update, which I asked for about 3 or 4 months ago also.
So if we ask, so what you're saying is that we remind them that they have a project out there and
Wait a minute, you're right.
and they should go forward with their project and develop the property? Is that what the community wants? Based on my review of the record, I don't think the community is really thrilled about that development.
Together on my phone. I cannot decipher. I'm very sorry. I cannot decipher.
You probably have to
come
get
to all
closer.
the meetings. I would love to come to meetings and see and hear what's going on. But I am so afraid with this COVID-19. Everything that you said, I couldn't decipher any of it, and it's very hard to tell what you were saying.
Well, John, this is the aspect with Bob Rupert about 2 weeks ago about this same topic, and Bob Rupert told me that she thinks that I should go talk to Nancy Winchoff, which I am planning on talking with Nancy, because I know Bob and Nancy were putting big figures in that whole thing. But I also sat down here with KPI and discussed the rollout and the permit process and where we are with that whole thing. We instructed Mr. Lisco to take a look at it from the legality spot, because if the permits had ran out, the question I asked him is, are we obligated or not to permit them to go forward, or can we just cancel it? That is where he, as an attorney, has to look at the legalities of that and give us a recommendation on that. And as a lawyer, I have not talked about that. Because if my understanding was there was a 15-year, there were 10 years and there was a 15-year extension on some parts and other parts were not. So that's what he's looking at to find out where we're at. Part of the part I was told, too, was that if any part of the Walmart development was sold, it negated the entire plan. There has been rumors that Walmart is trying to sell some of the plots that they have. And if that's true, then again, that would negate the whole entire thing, as far as my understanding. Mr. Lisco has been instructed department to look into those things and to let the board know what he's found out.
Well, okay, that sounds okay, but I still think that words and voices from the citizens of this community would be very, very helpful towards going forward on that, because they have been involved ever since it, before it began and after it began. So I appreciate what you're trying to do. I think that's great, but I think that more should be done about that. The activities. I'm sorry?
Well, I did take place that we found out what we can do going forward, but I certainly will make sure that the community is aware of any actions or any participated actions that the board or either one is looking at.
I would really appreciate it, and since I don't go to the meetings anymore because of COVID-19, I'm out of the loop, and I feel very rejected in a way, because the system that doesn't work well, I can't hear you very well, it's kind of scrambled, and so it's like a test that, you know, I take every month. But anyway, I appreciate what you're doing, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, I appreciate your comments.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bobby?
I have no more comments. Is there anybody else on the line with a comment?
Yeah, this is Rich from Cat, can you hear me?
Yes.
Who?
Richard.
I just want to let you know, your YouTube feed, the sound is not working right. It's completely distorted, and you can't hear or understand much of what's being said. So, I don't know if there's a technical issue with the sound.
You better have it.
YouTube.
No, I can hear you on the phone fine, but on YouTube, it's just, it's all static.
Thank you for that.
Anything else, Rich?
I did want to make just one comment, since you're getting ready to get into the budget. It's just consideration because of all the COVID, that there are people that are probably in economic hardship right now, and to really consider maybe not reducing or increasing taxes, or if they are increased, just not too much. Just be conservative with the budget, because I suspect there's a lot of people in the township that their economic situation is getting compromised by the
It might be too close.
For the Fairfield School District, also, of course, we all know that the Fairfield School District did raise your taxes anyhow.
Rich, you still on there? Okay, do you still have your YouTube up?
I can turn it up.
Well, I was just wondering, because we moved the microphone, I wanted to see if it made a difference. Technology.
Yes, wonderful.
No, it's still static.
Okay.
Okay, we're just trying to work on it to try to figure it out. Hopefully we'll get these bugs out. By the time we get the bugs out, we'll probably be back to regular meetings and don't need it.
Hopefully.
Sorry about that. Do you have anything else, Richard?
That's it.
All right, I appreciate it. We have anyone else on the line? Hello? Anyone else on the line?
Public comments are going to close.
I have one question. Mickey, you said that the school tax has gone up.
Yes, that's what they said.
Well, I just got a tax bill and it's less than 2%.
Give us feedback.
2%.
2%. It went up actually 1.5%.
Is that what it went up to? What is that?
Since they spent $10 million down there, there's a much bigger increase probably pending down the road.
Oh, I would assume so. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, we have any more public comments? Supervisors, you don't have any more comments, Bob?
No.
Bobby?
Nope, all done.
Okay. My comments, I'll just take them to the road department and, we'll move on with the meeting here. Our regular, minutes from July the 7th meeting, did everyone have an opportunity to review those minutes? And if you did, do we have a motion to accept the minutes as read?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's all we have on that. Let's see. Let's go to our treasury report. Everyone have an opportunity to read the treasury report, and so, can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept treasurer's report.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, expenses, invoices. All right, does everyone have an opportunity to look over the expenses?
I have, I would make a motion to accept it, pay the bills.
Do we have a second on that motion?
Yes, you'll have a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Somebody has, does not have their mute on. We're getting feedback from someone on the phone.
Hello?
Just ask whoever's on the phone to mute.
Is there someone there on the phone? Hello?
They left their phone on.
That's us.
Because what they did was whoever's calling in has left and their phone is on and they're not near their phone anymore.
Why don't we turn it off
Okay.
then?
If we hang up, we're hanging up on anyone who's calling in, that's the problem.
But they can't call in except during the public comments, can they?
Can we mute it now?
Yeah, muted.
If you mute, you're only muting yourself.
We can't mute the person's on the phone?
No, because it's a telephone call, they called in.
No. All right, move on down.
Okay, invoices, I'm sorry, I had to step out. Who made the motion for the invoice?
Mr. Johnson.
Okay, and then Mr. Fryholt, you did second that motion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did we move on to payroll yet?
We're going to payroll now.
Thank you.
All right, did everyone have an opportunity to review the payroll?
I did prepare it today, so I'll make a motion to accept it.
And I'll second your preparations.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, we're going to go to the police department report.
Let's see, in the month of July, we worked a total of 291 hours, 185 of that were patrol hours. Did 37 hours on call. We did 29 traffic details, wrote 72 traffic citations, 21 written warnings. We investigated 28 incidences, and PSP came out and handled 7 calls for us during the month of July. We put 1,423 miles on the car and used 134.8 gallons of gas. Some of the highlights of our month, Officer Rusin did several DUI roving patrols. While none of those involved any DUIs, he did make several arrests for some drugs and paraphernalia. We have been enforcing the no left turn at Steelman Marker Road. There have been some citations issued. There have also been, as I alluded to earlier, numerous speeding citations issued coming through that intersection because, like I said, I do believe speed is also a problem there. I checked the line of sight issues because I think last month somebody complained that when you're sitting there at the stop sign looking to the left, that second sign that was put up was impeding line of sight. I see no problems at all with that.
Because we moved it.
That's because
Oh,
we
did you?
moved it out.
Okay, all right. Well, good job, because I see no line of sight problems there. And as I mentioned earlier to the guys here, PSP did investigate an accident there on Saturday. I don't have any details on it yet. I don't think the accident report's finished. I've been working on the 2021 budget, so that's taken up a little bit of time. I've had several hearings this month, and so has Officer Rusin. We did meet with Watch Guard, which is the group that we got a quote from on the body-worn cameras that I'll address later on under new business. I still do not have an answer yet on when we'll get the money from the grant that we received for the bulletproof vest. I did check on that again today, and it is now being processed. It went from in the queue to being processed, so I guess they're starting to get their backlog done too. So hopefully by next month, I would hope, maybe we'll have the money from that. So that's like $1,300. Other than that, I think that's about it.
I'd like to add something to the police report.
Go ahead.
It's been my observation, and I've been watching what Officer Rusin has done in his time here. I think it's getting close to 6 months, something like that. And I've gotten feedback from the public, how polite he is and the job he does. Sherry's been more than pleased with him. He works a lot of weekends.
Yes.
Off hours, the DUI checks, he has a lot of certificates. I'd like for the Board of Supervisors to consider a raise for him. He's done a bang-up job, and I'd like to commend him for the work he's done for our township.
All right, well, as I indicated earlier when I was looking at the report here, it seems like this man has done 62 citations he's written in a month. 62, which is unheard of in our township. And he's written more in a month than we've been written in a year. Actually, in many years. And he wrote 13 warnings. So he wrote, within a month, he wrote 75 tickets in 1 month. I definitely believe the man's earned his keep. If you look at the total number of revenue, Bob, if you go to that page, you'll see what this man has brought in income in this township. It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. So, Bob, what kind of raise are you talking?
Well, I was thinking an even $22 an hour, a raise from $20.40 to $22 an hour, which would set in somewhere around 7-8%.
Sherry, you have any comments on that?
I'm all for a raise for Officer Rusin. Like Mr. Kyle said, he has exceeded my expectations. Since he came to work here, he does everything I ask of him. He pretty much works just about any hours I ask him to work. So I'm not opposed at all. I'd be highly in favor of a raise for him.
Rob?
Same. I think he's done every report I've received about him has been favorable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that much. It's like 54 cents. Did I calculate that wrong?
You calculated.
You calculated it wrong.
Yeah.
It's like $1.60 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chief, another question.
Yes.
When we interviewed with him, he seemed anxious and willing, more than willing, to work as many hours as possible. Are you trying to accommodate him? And
Yes.
okay.
All right, well, so you're ready to motion, Bobby?
I'd like to make a motion that we give Officer Rusin a raise to $22 an hour.
And we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. $22 an hour.
When is that effective?
Effective this next pay period?
So that would be or then it's from last Saturday, or you mean 2 more weeks?
No.
Or Sunday, which is 2 days ago.
Well, Bobby, what are you doing?
You want to retroactively make it for Sunday to cover this next 2 pay periods?
Yeah, we're only talking 2 days.
Yeah.
He worked Sunday for, I forget how many hours.
Retroactive to Sunday the 2nd.
Thank you.
6 to 22. Okay, motion was made, seconded, it's all in favor. So be it, $22 an hour from Mr. Lucy.
Sherry, do you want to issue the letter?
Yes, I can
I'll leave
do
it
that.
in the letter.
I'll give it to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank him again for his service and
Yes.
everything he's done.
No problem.
It's really wow. So, he's been out there working, we've been doing nothing but positive. on that. Thanks again. The zoning report. Oh, you done? I'm sorry.
Yes,
You done?
yes.
So the zoning report, we had land use permits, 418 Track Road for $90, one at 3355 Bullfrog for a new deck, one at 620 Glad Hill for a new carriage house, and one at 45 Oak Road for a shed with a total of $360 in permit fees for July 2020. Okay, we go to the road department. Well, of course, in the roads been busy. We had quite a busy month doing some brush work, cutting back, working on the getting along the roads done. We did work some more on pipes and culverts, getting those opened up, cleaned out. We are not done with that. I think we still have about 4 roads or 5 roads to go on that. But we are still actively trying to get that done. This coming Thursday and Friday, the township parking area out here will be closed to residents and to the general public because we will be blacktopping the parking lot starting Thursday through Friday. So there'll be limited access to the township on those 2 days.
How long do we need to stay off of that then?
Till Monday.
Till Monday.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm working a weekend, that's why I asked.
How is this done especially?
We had 5 trees go down in 1 week, thanks to Sherry. She's out there cutting trees down, calling me in on the weekends. So 5 trees, we had 3 trees in 1 day, didn't we, Sherry?
Yeah.
3 trees in 1 day. I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with you people? So anyhow, so we had to get some trees off the roads, and we'd come in and do some, and it happened on the weekend, so we had to come in with call-ins, and those are 2-hour call-ins at a time. Bruce Petchel was available to come and help on one of the days when we called in, so I want to thank Bruce for his willingness to come in when he was already off.
He did a good job that day too.
Yes, he
getting
did.
that tree, because that was not easy.
Yes, he did. We had we did have a meeting with the resident over on Stoltz Road about the driveway issue. I believe the township has came to an agreement with the builder and the landowner to come in compliance with that. That was a mutual agreement just for us going out and just talking with them. So we were glad that happened. Also, Mrs. Fiscata made a donation to the township of some R4 stones. So we did go down and pick that up, got 2 truckloads of stone from her. Sent her a thank you letter for that. Also, we delivered the tax records to the school district, and also our personal records, or not personal records, but our records that we had here, financial records, stuff like that, to be shredded.
The tax records.
Yeah, the tax records. The school district was doing a shred on the 24th of July, so we took that material down to them and they shredded it for us. E-cycle, we also went down for e-cycle, worked down there from 8 a.m. until lunchtime. We had I thought it was a fairly good turnout. We didn't quite fill out 3 dumpsters, filled out 2 dumpsters though, and Mr. Sly brought most of the junk himself.
I had help.
He had help, yeah, he did, he had help. So I think it was a very good success. There is another one scheduled to come up, I believe it's in October.
Yes.
So look forward to that. Please, residents, check before you bring the stuff out. There is a list. I believe Wendy will have it on our website. What you can and cannot bring. What we did see during the e-cycle, there was people bringing stuff that we had to turn away, and they were not very pleased with that. But you cannot bring transistor radios and microwaves and humidifiers and stuff like that. It is mainly computers, TVs, and those type of accessories. No vacuum cleaners, no printers. No, printers were included. But there is a list of what you can and can't bring.
No batteries.
No batteries.
That's a problem. No one knows what to do with the use of batteries.
Yeah, we did have that, the battery problem. So just make sure if you're going to come out and bring stuff that you check the list before you come, and that way we'll save you. Like I said, we had to turn, I know, 2 trucks away that had stuff that we couldn't accept none of it. So And I think that's a good thing for the township and for the community at large. The only thing I will address is on this, and hopefully, and this is for our residents. Like I said, I did meet with Carroll Valley, and they were not objective to our no left turn on Stillman Marker. But we did this in the safety and the best interest of the township and all people traveling through our township. As I indicated before, unfortunately, Mr. Brad Sanders is not happy, but I think this decision was made in the best interest of the township and our residents as a whole. Some of the communication might not have been as what they wanted to be, but it is the procedure we took. I believe we took the proper procedures and recommendations of everyone and addressed that issue. So hopefully that's the end of that. And I came to the understanding that you can't make everybody happy. So unfortunately, that's how that goes. That's all I have on the road department. No, I do. I have others. I did meet with Pennington and the organ in our new business. We met with Pennington. We had the trees and the brush and stuff at the bridge at Orchard Road that is causing, Board Road is causing so much trouble with sight distance. People, every time they come in there, they're saying they hit the bridge. I think we had an accident on the bridge again. Someone sideswiped the bridge. And I was like, oh my God, we did that. So, and every time they're saying is it's because of the trees and the not being able to see cars coming the other direction. So we have got procured signatures from the property owners to go ahead and take down those trees and to clean up the shrubbery along the bridge. That's not something that Bobby and I and Bruce feel that we are able to do because we have some power lines and electric lines and also cable lines that are in play, and we don't have a reach truck. So Pennington came out, gave us a price for them to come in and do it. They said they could take it down in about 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, they can have it all done. So you'll see it tonight in our packet. There is a proposal in there for us to consider having them do that work. That also, which I didn't say earlier, hold on, let me see if we still have to. Yeah, I'm saying that's funny. So anyhow, I don't know if anything else we need, Bobby, anything for. So that's kind of where we're at. We do need to consider the road department when you start looking at your budget for 2021. We do have some projects that we did not do this year in 2020. Hopefully we can start taking some progressive action on some of these roads that need more than just ditching. We have done a lot of ditching in the township, a lot of pipes we've been working on. We have pipes that still need to be, some of them need to be cleaned out. We have base repair that we still need to do, which we do have the money in the budget to do some base repair work. But next year, we need to start doing some surface work and some of that stuff. So consider that when you're looking at the budget, that some of those things need to be done. So other than that, I think I'm good on as far as the road department. So we will go to the secretary report.
I still need to address these telephone calls that are coming in from people interested in buying property in Liberty Township. I received another one today, and I directed the person to the website, to the ordinances. They were not satisfied with my answer, and they were pushing to know if they could put chickens on their property. I can't answer those questions. And we have this, and we talked before about not sending everyone to the zoning officer. I'm just not clear on questions I can't directly answer for these people who are just looking for information because they're interested in buying a property.
If they're just interested in buying, they need to, right. Then you can direct them to the board of supervisors, I guess you could do that. One thing is if they're looking at buying property, they should be checking with the real estate company that they're working with. The real estate company should be able to look into the ordinances that the township have in effect. If it's in an AR district, which is an agricultural district within the agricultural zoning, you are allowed to have chickens?
It's actually out here on Orchard,
Well,
it's
that's-
in the commercial district. But that's just one question. So when I tell them that, they're like, no, you're the township, I'm getting uncomfortable having these conversations. It
Wendy,
makes me look rude.
Well, I'd like to interrupt you and help you here.
Thank you.
I think what you need to do is get all their information, cell phone numbers, email address, their name,
I do that.
what their question is, and let the three of us take a look at it
Okay, perfect.
and let us handle that. If it's an issue, then I think that falls back on us.
Okay, thank you.
So,
I will do that. I will take the information and I will send it
Yep.
out to you and then when.
we'll figure it out.
That sounds perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Go ahead, anything else?
No, I think that's it. And Jessica, Ilko, she's doing great job. She's still doing some training, but everything I'm working with her on is turning out fine. She's doing an excellent job, eager to learn, very great. And I'm happy that you hired her. Thank you for hiring her.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. All right, if nothing else from the secretary, we're going to planning commission. They did cancel the July meeting. They're going to attempt to do a Zoom meeting this coming Thursday.
Yeah, it's on the
When is it?
The August 18th, is that?
Yes.
August
It's
18th.
the day before our workshop.
Yes, August 18th. Thank you, Wendy. So they are going to try to do a Zoom meeting. I know Judy contacted me today. They are looking at a place over on Stokes Road that they're looking to a land swap or something like that with the top codes and anyhow, it's in the
All of the information is actually on the website now, and anyone can see
can
it.
review that. Absolutely. And also they are still looking and working on the ban on the burn ordinance. And that's all they're working on right the moment that I'm aware of. So Judy, she did want me to let you guys know in case you don't know, Bart has been having some medical issues and he's been in the hospital. So it's consuming some of her time. So we just be lifting Bart up and Judy is going to deal with
Was that been in hospital, Bart?
Bart.
Bart?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we keeping him in your prayers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, planning commission, I don't know if there's anything else. We will move on to old business. Some of you, well, all of you should have the codification and have an opportunity to look through the codification. And I know Mr. Lisco looked through the legal aspects of the codification, made some recommendations. KPI, they also went through the codification. I sat down with them and made recommendations on what they think we should do as far as some of the questions that we had. And then PA Municipal, I had a meeting with them a couple of weeks ago and instructed them to look at some specific things in the codification and give us some direction on that. Received that back today. I did have an opportunity to go through it. We will be meeting with Pennsylvania Municipal Authorities tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning for the supervisors to go over some concerns with that and also the codification.
That's gonna be an executive session.
That will be an executive
No,
session.
okay.
Yes, that's be an executive session tomorrow at 10 a.m. So that's where we are with the codifications. Any questions? Bob, do you have any questions on codification?
No, it's pretty complicated.
A lot. Bobby?
I'm with Bob. It's a lot of reading.
It is a whole lot of reading, and I've read it how many times. I sat down with 3 different people now and tried to go over it. Phew, I would rather get it done. That's all I got to say. So in line with that, there was a well ordinance you guys were sent out last month. We looked at a well ordinance. You instructed me to go and to talk with Randy Alexander, which is what I did. I took the well ordinance to him last month, right after the meeting, the very next day. He read over the well ordinance, pointed out a lot of good things in it, but he made a good recommendation. And this is the one that you have in front of you now, is the one that Mr. Alexander has recommended. It is the same a well ordinance that Freedom just passed this past month. It's very detailed. Randy reviewed it. He said it was one of the best well ordinances he's ever seen. And he recommended that we just follow in their footsteps and adopt the same well ordinance. And so anyhow, that's why it's in front of you now. It's pretty in-depth to especially design. What was missing on the other well ordinance was the design as far as grouting, the construction. And he was very adamant that the grouting needed to go all the way to the bottom of the well and come up. And our other one we looked at did not have that in there. This one is very detailed in that part. It also sets the standards for the wells to be done according to Adams County's ordinance. And Adams County has a very strict ordinance on how it should be done. And also here it has the geothermal wells, the closed loop and the open loop. The open loop is pretty much not used anymore at all, but it is an option if people decide to want to do it. The only thing that we don't have in this ordinance, we do have a permit on the very back, so you would get a permit. The zoning, excuse me. The zoning officer would go out and they would initially have an application you have to submit, and after the application is done, it would be given to the zoning officer. The zoning officer will go out to the site, make sure that there's also a sheet for a drawing, so they can draw the well. So the zoning officer will go out, inspect the site, give them the approval to go ahead and start the well. They have to contact him within 48 hours prior to drilling the well, that way he can be there when they drill. Randy did tell me that our fee that we suggested was too low, way too low. He recommends that we adopt the same fees as some of the other townships, Savannah being one of them, I believe Freedom also. For a family, single dwelling fit a well, $125 permit that would cover the application and the 3 inspections. There's 3 inspections. There's the site plan inspection, the well drilling inspection, and the final inspection at the end. And he said as far as geothermal, he recommended that we also the geothermal is going to be more involved than a family dwelling, because you got to inspect not just one well, but a lot of times up to a minimum of 6 wells, up to 12 wells. So he recommended that we set the rate at $250 for geothermal wells. He said make sure we understand that it's not $250 per well, because you have somebody going to kill you, but it's $250 per hole. So now, my recommendation is that we go ahead and advertise this for 30 days, and then next month we can, if we choose to, we'll have in the meeting, and people have an opportunity to come in and talk about this, and we can adopt this, and we can have this in our codification, part of our codification for September, because codification is due to be finished in September, and anything we want to put in that we need to get done now. So that's my recommendation. Do I have any, or that's my motion, do I have any comments or any, do I have a second first off?
Good idea. How much does this one differ from the one we were looking at before?
A lot.
A lot.
It's way more detailed, plus this also has it has very well in there about Adams County construction standards and material specifications. The other ones didn't have that at all. And it also gives us a definition of boring, a hole boring, closed loop systems, code enforcement officer, DEP responsibility, DCNR. So this was way more in depth than that. The other one's only 3 pages. This one here is a total of, I think, 8 pages. No, 11 pages. It's 11 pages.
Well, I think it was a very good idea to talk to Randy.
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy who's gonna have to make it work.
Right, absolutely. So,
So your motion is to authorize staff to,
authorize Wendy to advertise this for adoption next month.
Well, I wouldn't even consider this help in consolidating the ordinance. Does this need to be a hearing? Is it a standalone or?
no, you don't need a hearing, you can do it at a
Okay.
meeting, you have to get the added 7 days before the meeting.
Okay, and can you prepare the consolidated or the ordinance for the ad?
Well, yes, I can, but if you can do this for me,
Yes.
if you can ask Freedom to send you
Oh,
a
a copy
copy
of their ad.
in
Maybe-
Word,
Okay, yes.
in Word, not PDF.
I'll get a copy of, sure. for
And
you.
if they do that, and it's up to you, if you, or if, I can't remember the name of the assistant secretary, if you or her want to just,
Yeah, draft it and have you look at it.
yeah, then
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
save the township some money. All you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
do is wherever it says Freedom, have it say Liberty.
I'll check with them to see if they didn't put, so some townships just put the whole thing in. So I'll see.
Sometimes what?
They just put the whole ordinance in. I'll check to see.
Well, that's okay, they put the whole ordinance in, just as long as we can get it in Word.
Right.
And, or
No, I mean,
maybe,
I'd rather not since I'm.
or some, or maybe you have the capability, even if it's in PDF, you can.
Yeah, I can do that. I can
You can
get
change it to Word?
Yeah, I will send you an editable document after I take a look at it.
Okay.
And have you either, help
And
me
then-
review what we got.
And then I can do the ad as soon as you send that. to me.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you. So Mr. Barlow has made the motion for the solicitor.
Do I have a second?
You were shaking your head.
No, I'm just trying to adjust my mask.
Do I have a second to that?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next thing we have in front of us is a nuisance ordinance. This nuisance ordinance was actually given to me by Clem from PD Municipal. It was one that he felt that we did not have a nuisance ordinance, and I hope you guys have an opportunity to read through this. I did. There are things in here that I agree on. There's other things I think in here are way too much for us as a township. So I don't accept this one myself, but I want the board to weigh into what you guys might think of the nuisance ordinance. Did you have a chance to read it?
Yes, I did, and I had the same reaction you did. There's too much stuff in there, and it's gonna be an endless series of arguments starting with Fred Crumb's parking lot down there. I mean, that thing wouldn't fit into this ordinance, and there's this damn owl that comes by my house and sits outside my window at night, and it's certainly a nuisance.
Right.
I don't want to get into arguments like that, and I'm afraid, since we're an agricultural area, we're gonna have an awful lot of squabbles about
Oh, yeah.
how tall the grass is, and I think that the results down there in Carroll Valley prove that it can be a real negative, where they hire people to go out and measure how high tree grasses are, and crap like that.
I agree.
And so I think we have to be very careful, and because what's a nuisance for me might not be a nuisance for a farmer.
Correct. Well, if you're in
You're
agreement,
allowed one junk vehicle in your driveway, it says. I don't know why anybody would put that in a nuisance ordinance, but
right.
that's the kind of stuff that I think is really gonna come back and bite us. So
I agree
I'm
too.
taking a cautious. Maybe we could look at a few other samples. I can't imagine one that won't have a lot of problems for us.
Right. Bobby, do you have any action on this?
No, I agree with both of you. I think it's far too in-depth it's not conducive to our community, really, being mostly an agricultural community and so forth. I agree with Bob, and I think we need to consider something else. Or strike out what we don't like here and amend what we think fits well.
And we can do that, if you guys want to do that, or we can just table this all together. It's totally up to what you guys want to do. Like I said, I looked at this and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It even gets into disposing of carcasses. It's like, are you kidding me? Who's gonna go out there and tell someone how they have to get rid of their carcass if they got a cow dropped over?
Well, who's
Again,
going to police all this stuff?
Who's gonna go out and police, and we'll have our police officer go out and police who shot grass out on the roadway and give them a fine? Seriously?
I think,
How about toxic weed spray? You know that. If the person has the license, knows what he's got going on, so we're gonna give someone a citation because they were spraying something and they determined it was a nuisance?
well,
That whole ordinance is a nuisance.
Well, let me just give you some background. I mean, many of my townships enacted and then repealed those things.
Well, it is.
Yeah, and some of them never enacted them in the first place for the reasons you're stating. Antrim, St. Thomas, they're still similar, very agricultural, similar to you guys, you know, I mean, so, I mean, but some of my other townships, Washington Township, I think they have it.
But I think some of our ordinances cover a lot.
Some of our ordinances cover a lot.
You know, so it's kind of a duplication and.
Right.
Well, I mean, most of it's just about being a good neighbor too.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if we had a choice between deep sixing it right now or doing a lot of further investigation, I'd be in favor of the former.
So you're gonna make a motion to
I'll
deep
make
six it?
I'll make a motion that we table the nuisance ordinance.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yay. Okay, good. All right, again, the burn ordinance is still in the planning process. I believe Mr. Grant is the lead guy on that and still looking at that, and they're going to talk about that on the 18th. I did read over the burn ordinance and what they proposed. I hope the other supervisors did. I believe, again, the burn ordinance, we need a burn ordinance. I think it's a little bit more detailed than what we need. We don't need a burn ordinance like Carroll Valleys, or Gettysburg Borough, or some of those other places. We need one that's more addressed for an agricultural community. So, and I did talk to Judy and tell her that and stuff. So, anyhow, the burn ordinance is still on the table, and hopefully by the end of the month we might have something that we may be able to advertise that too. I don't know. But we're not gonna be able to get that in by September.
No, and remember, if we add this into so the well ordinance itself, unless you're trying to get that burn ordinance enacted now, if we don't, or you just want to include it in the codification.
I was hoping to, but if we can't, we won't.
Yeah, I mean,
You can completely edit the codification up until the last minute. Don't worry about that September deadline. September deadline is for us to answer those really hard questions like, what are the fines, or how are we doing these fines? Are you keeping these ordinances or not? But we can edit it up until the publication and after publication. So don't worry too much about that.
Okay.
But I know that you wanted to get the well ordinance enacted now and not a year from now.
Right.
So, but if the burn is not in a hurry, and I don't think we'll have text for that for a while, so then we'll just keep looking at it, and it'll get included eventually.
Okay. All right, well, so it said the burn ordinance is still on the table, and so.
that's the next should be, but that's another one, just being a good neighbor. I mean, I burn, but I don't burn when it's windy out, because, you know, that's when it can be distracting. Of course, I got 4 acres, so I got some ground, but I still don't burn when it's windy out. Well, it's not safe. And, you know, you don't want smoke.
One of the
getting
things
into
that I
neighbor's
think should be in this is to contact county control whenever you're going to make a fire.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because last week, there were several fires that I saw, and I checked with the county, and they said there was a fire.
Yeah, you call, well, where I'm at, you just call the,
911.
Yeah.
no, call the fire company.
We can hear you call county.
Yeah.
And let them know the county.
I just call the fire company and tell them, hey, I'm burning.
But we did enact a no burn or
The burn ban.
ban.
But the county finds out from the fire departments whether they should impose one or not and where.
Oh, you're talking about, oh, well, no, if there's a countywide burn ban, then nobody can burn.
But it's apparently not necessarily countywide, it's usually, but he said you're allowed to burn if you're here, but not if you're over here. But generally, there's a burn ban in effect, but people don't apparently know that, because they go ahead and burn anyway.
They brought that on county. Because I know they called me this morning and asked about lifting the burn ban. And I told them, I said, the fire chiefs is what they called. And I said, if that's what your recommendation is, you want to release the burn ban, I said, that's totally up to you. So Wendy had to call Tammy, or send Tammy notification.
Yeah, I notified county
Then
that
we
we were
agreed with the fire chief to lift the ban.
Oh, okay.
So that happened. Okay, the next is number 9, we're back to public comments. Is anyone on the phone for public comment on new agenda items? Hello? Okay. We will move on to new business. You have in front of you tonight, you have a resolution 2020-09. That is the resolution for us to dispose of the financials that we gave to the school district to destroy.
Actually, let me just talk about those for a
Yeah, go
second.
ahead.
Okay, so, since we closed out of our bond claim, prior to that, I did want to dispose of any financial records the whole way back to the beginning of time. But since that has been closed out, we're now going to put on a list for disposition all of the outdated and financial records that we don't need anymore. It's my intention that we mark these boxes and store them, and that by passing this resolution, when an opportunity comes up for destruction, say we have a big bonfire or another shred event comes up, then we can say, oh, those were marked and passed for destruction, we can take them at any time. So that is my purpose of doing these now.
I've got a question for you, Wendy.
Yes.
There are two papers here. One has to do with canceled payroll checks, and the other one
Yes.
is account distribution summaries. Why?
Yes,
Why
they're
are they-
all
why are
fine.
they two separate ones?
Well, they're listed separately because that's the way the DCD has them listed in the book. I could have put them all on one resolution, but it's just easier for me. They are in different boxes, they're different sets of boxes, they're separated right now. So it's just easier to mark them that way, and that's how they're listed in the records, municipal records manual.
Okay. Question answered.
Okay.
And the purpose of this is too, is we have retained more than 30 years, or well, actually a lot longer than that. We
I have no record of any files ever being destroyed in the township. We currently have files back to the 30s.
To the 30s, right.
So,
And
yes.
we did take off some of the tax ones that we picked up and had here. They were over 20 years old. So we did
Yes,
took
those
them.
are the ones we did last.
We took them down and gave them to the school district and to Adams County. They came and picked up their records. And then we took some other records that were outdated and not no longer needed to be shredded. The school district has decided they will do a shred once a year, and they have invited the people in the local municipalities to participate in that at no charge. So they're going to send us the dates when they do that, and we have an option to take records and shred them, because first off, we don't want to be burning the records out back here. Because we don't supposed to be burning them for one thing, and we do supposed to make sure that they was properly disposed of if we want to do that. So that's what this resolution is about, is to review those, get those ones we already got on. And then as the records start accumulating and become old, when they reach the point that we no longer have to keep them by law, then we can get rid of them. So that's what the first resolution is about.
I think the resolution says we will be authorized to dispose of them rather than we must dispose of them. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can authorize
We
it.
don't want to have to say this has a date on the box, so we only have a week before we have
No.
to get rid of it. We get rid of it, are allowed to get rid of it at the date on the box.
Right.
And once they are destroyed, we will have a record that the box has been destroyed. So.
Yes.
How long you want to wait for the records before we say they destroy
They
them?
have to be, what is it, Wendy, again? What was the stipulation on the record dates?
Are you talking about how long do we have to keep? All of these things have individual, some records are permanent, some are not. The ones listed on here, that's also the difference between the payroll records and the financial records files, is because there are different limitations. And we just follow this DCED municipal records manual. It's a big fat manual that tells you what records and how long you need to keep them.
Yeah, some of them are 7 years, some are
Some
10,
11, some 25,
some are
30.
25, some are indefinitely.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes.
Minutes.
Minutes, audits,
They have to
budgets,
be
those are all
kept.
permanent.
You can't ever destroy these. Plot plans and stuff like that, you can't destroy them, they have to be kept too. We're talking accounts distribution, accounts payables, accounts receivable, annual budgets, audit workshop, balance sheets, bank statements, reconciliation.
Those are the budget work papers,
Yes.
but not the actual official.
Right, cash register, check registers, deposit slips, those types of things in the first one. Expense reports, vouchers, utilities and paid services, supplies, requisitions, purchase files and stuff like that. That's in the first one. The second one is council payroll, employee payroll, individual payroll earnings, mainly deals with pension plan, pay vouchers, quarterly returns for withdrawals from the federal income tax, social security reports, unemployment compensation records, wages and tax statements, and withholding allowances, and also 1099 forms. That's the second resolution.
We approve these and
Yes.
tonight?
Yeah.
Individually, if you could make a motion
Yeah.
on them.
Make a motion that we, the resolution 2020-09, that we adopt this resolution. That's my motion. We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Wendy, you can prepare that and we'll sign that. Anyway. The second resolution is 2020-10. That's a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of Liberty Township, Adams County, Pennsylvania, to disposition of payroll records prior to the year 2011. So anything that's older than 2011 will be shredded. So I make a motion that we adopt this resolution. I have a second to that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Our next item is here is the change account contact information on the pension plan. Wendy says that the pension plan has to have Wendy and the chairman of the Board of Supervisors has to be on that. The contact information. So Wendy had to prepare that statement, so it's ready to be taken care of. So we need to do that by motion, Wendy?
What I would want you to do is I would like you to consider a motion to remove John Bostic from all pension plan accounts and replace him with whoever, whatever you.
Yeah, correct. So, but that's the motion. The motion is to remove John Bostic from all the pension plans that we currently have and to add the new chairman of the Board of Supervisors is the contact information for that. And then proceeding years forward, anytime the chairman chooses that we, the chairman will be named as the contact information going forward.
I'll make that motion to that effect.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're at the insurance quote, and Mr. Keitel has been looking over our insurance and talking with different insurance companies about putting us in prices. So, Bobby, you want to kind of bring us to speed on that?
Well, I have a complete quote from Mr. Bergdale, which is now the Russell Insurance Group. And I have that in my hand, which you guys have reviewed. It looks good. It's down a little bit. Workman's comp, I think, I forget what that was down, a good bit. But anyhow, I'm in the process of getting a second quote, which I'll have prior to our budget workshop the 19th. So we'll need to make our decision on that pretty soon then. And that's where we are with that right now.
Okay. And we still have time, I know the Perma, whatever, sent us a bill. So we have enough time to consider all that before, at the workshop, Wendy, when does the bill due?
It is due September 1st, so we need to make a payment on some type of insurance by September 1st, so our insurance does not lapse.
Okay, right. All right, so,
Well, we don't have to necessarily approve all of them by the same date, do we?
Yes, they all expire on the same
Yeah,
date.
okay. Well, we're gonna have to have a special meeting, or?
But I think Mr. Kyle was suggesting that we
We
take
do
a
this
motion
at
at
the
the
workshop.
workshop. We're having a budget workshop on
Yeah.
We can approve it at that time?
I don't see why we couldn't. It's a public meeting. Yeah.
I think in most cases, they're statutory requirements for workman's comp and things like that, so there shouldn't be any difference from one to the other. And Perma is got a pretty big pool, and they seem to be,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're gonna find much more competitive than that.
One of the questions I had, and I think it's more directed to Mr. Lisco, is do we have to, are we required to bid these out?
No, that's what Mr. Kyle says.
Oh, yes,
It's in the second class township code, I don't remember the section now, but.
okay, all right. Good, all right, thank you.
But then we'll plan on approving them at the workshop meeting.
In the workshop. Item D is the central air conditioning quotes. Right now, we're still in the process of receiving quotes. One person came out, Holzhoffers came out today and met with the township, met with Bobby actually. I wasn't able to be here and looked over, and they're going to bring us a proposal back with heating and air conditioning together and also just air conditioning alone. We do have some other people that have been contacted, but as of right now, we have not received any dates that they're going to come out and look at the project. But we have Sowers and
Inser and Sowers.
New York Springs.
Lynn from Keymar, Maryland.
Yep, Lynn from Keymar, Maryland.
You talked about somebody else.
Train from Harrisburg. Train does a lot of commercial stuff in our area, the school districts, hospitals, stuff like that. They're going to supposed to send us an engineer, one of their engineers down to look at it and try to look us up something with Train. So we are going to try to get 3 or 4 quotes and then consider if we want to go forward doing that, then we'd like to try to put it in the budget for 2021. So hopefully we'll get these numbers in before we have to do our budget.
Can I speak to what I?
Yes, you most certainly can, absolutely.
They're actually, I met with the gal this morning. Primarily what we have here is this room and the 2 offices. And you can count the hallway if you care to, and restroom. A residential type heat pump would certainly handle it for heating and cooling. That would require ductwork, of course, and the air handler upstairs and so forth and so on. We looked at that, got up above. Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Anyhow, she's going to give us a quote with a heat pump, but right now there's a more effective or efficient system, cost effective, is the Mitsubishi system, and I've been somewhat familiarized with them through a friend who installed them, and he speaks highly of them. She kind of leaned that way, so it would be an outside unit, but then we would have a wall unit in this room, Sherry's room, and the police office. And basically, you have 2 options as far as thermostats. You can, but the one that she kind of recommended was each room would have its own thermostat, because what Sherry considers too hot or cold might be different from Wendy and so forth. And so we're going to set them up that way probably, because if Wendy's coming to work on Monday morning and it's below 0 and it's cold outside, she can get on her phone and set the temperature. So when she gets here, it's warm. So it can, we can turn it down a little bit over the weekend, and then we can bump it up when we need to. So, and that would be at their discretion. It would allow them to set the temperature to their comfort level. So kind of like that. But I think that's a little simpler and probably would be a little more or less expensive than a heat pump because of the duct work. And
I think you're right on that score, but we've got to make sure the noise level that whatever we put in allows us to run it while we're having meetings.
She assured me that you could sit here and talk at a regular voice with that machine running, you won't even hear it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Because that tends to shorten our meetings
Yeah.
down to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so we'll still be trying to get those quotes, and then we'll give them to you as soon as they come in, and then we can discuss if we want to go forward with that. E is the tree trimming, which I sent to you guys about in the roadmaster's report. You have an estimate in front of you. Pennington is the same ones that come out and did the tree surgery work for us on the Liberty Hall and over on Stoops Road. So I met with Logan, and Logan came back with a price of $21.95 that they could do that. He said that they thought they could get it done in maybe about 4 to 5 hours. We would have to run a bucket truck or try to get a bucket truck of some type to try to get that down. We'd have to, we don't have the manpower to do it, bottom line.
Do we have the insurance?
I don't know if we have the insurance to take down trees that are close to power lines.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea. So like I said, I went out and had these guys come in. This is the proposal. I'll make a recommendation if we're going to clean that up and get that site distance opened up, that we go with letting Pennington go ahead and do this. They said they could do it pretty quickly if we decide to do it. So
Any idea of what the dollars are?
It's right here,
it's right there in front.
it's in your packet.
So we got
Okay,
it.
I'll find it.
$21.95.
$21.95 for them to do everything.
It's a bargain.
Yeah, they'll clean it up. All the brush and everything, they'll clean up, shred. The wood itself will stay on the property of the owners, which is what we have in our release letters that we got. But they clean it up on both sides of the bridge, from one end to the other end. And I said, well, I don't think we can beat that. So I'll make a motion that we accept the bid at $21.95. They said they do it in a short amount of time. Of course, they won't let us, but no, that's an estimate bid. So,
I'll second that.
got a second? Got all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. I'll give them a call tomorrow and let them know that they can schedule that. Did you find Bob?
That's all right, I can remember 21.95.
The next thing is that, again, Sherry did speak about the watch guard, the body cams. Sherry and Bobby met with a distribution rep, I guess, to these, so I will turn that over to those guys to talk to the board about.
Sure, go ahead, take the floor.
We met with him, we talked a little bit about body cameras, body worn cameras. We also talked to him a little bit about in-car cameras. I personally didn't even ask for an estimate on an in-car camera because my feeling on it is that if we would get 2 body cameras, one for myself and then one for the part-timers to share right now, if something happens while we're in the car, whether it be a pursuit, whether it be that we're starting a traffic stop, we can have that body camera on and we can start the body camera instead of the in-car camera. That saves us a lot of money only having to buy one. If I had to choose between, like I say, the body camera and the in-car camera, I choose the body camera because I can turn that on no matter where I go. I might get out of my car, the in-car camera's running, but I go down across the field or in somebody's backyard to talk to them, and my in-car camera's no good anymore. The body camera, like I said, I can use that while I'm inside my car. I can use it when I'm on the outside of my car. The benefits of it are in today's day and age with everything going on with police officers and use of force or he said, she said. I think it's a great tool for us because it reiterates our side of the story. Not that we have that many problems here in the township, but it's always possible. We have people from outside the township that travel through our township that we may do a vehicle stop on, and it may be DUI, may have drugs, or just a regular stop for speeding, where we get in a confrontation with somebody, and then, like I say, it's their word against our word, basically. So I just think that it's a good tool for us. The company that we talked to was WatchGuard. I chose to talk to them because they have a great following, and their product is very good. All the people that I've talked to that have different body-worn cameras, WatchGuard comes back with probably the best stories about them and that. So we got an estimate for 2 body cams that do come with charging bases. It includes power cables and USB cables. They also actually are Wi-Fi. You can use Wi-Fi with them too. It also comes with, included on that are the belt clips. They are in HD. It comes with a 12-month, 1-year warranty on both of the cameras. And the price that they gave us for all that with both cameras, you guys all have a copy of it up there, was $2,140. Now I do, also WatchGuard holds the state contract right now for body-worn cameras and in-car cameras, meaning that they contract with state police, we'd be getting the same deal that they are. He told Bobby and I that it doesn't matter how many we order, it's going to be the same price. So basically, we piggyback off of the state's contract with them. So that's what, it would be $2,140, and we actually do have that much money, plus some left in our budget. I have been trying to find, to see if we could maybe get some grants for that. So far, I haven't found any, but I also have some alternatives too to tap into some places in the community where maybe we can get a donation towards those. I'm gonna look at some of those this week and maybe send a couple letters out and whatnot. So that would just be my thought that we should move forward with this and give it a go.
Chief, another company, in addition to protecting you, you don't have the he said, she said. These are also valuable, very valuable in DUI cases.
Yes, very much so.
Because you're going to be able to audio and video.
Yes.
And so you can videotape him on that, walking that, or trying to walk that
Yes,
street line.
yes, exactly.
Several times. So it's not just a defensive tool, it's also
Correct.
great evidence in a trial.
Yeah, a lot of times right now what we'll do is we'll have the neighboring department, if they have an officer available, to come over and witness the sobriety checks. But if you don't have, if they're tied up on something, usually we use Carroll Valley and vice versa, we'll go witness for them. But if they're tied up on something, again, that'd be a valuable tool for us to be able to say, okay, here you go, here's what went on that night. Here's how your client didn't perform his field sobriety test.
Right.
Well, I think I might have asked you this question before. Just to refresh my mind as far as the opportunity to turn these things on and off. Once they've been turned on, how are they, you download the information here, here, so the officer can't download or take they can't delete what's on it?
They can't delete what's on it, no. We talked about that too. The only person that would be able to delete anything is myself.
Right.
So,
And you have to be very careful, especially in DUI cases.
Yes.
If you delete evidence, that's destruction of evidence.
yes, and there are also parameters on how long that you must keep certain
Correct.
things. Like a DUI, I think there's certain criteria on how long that you would keep that. I mean, any case that you're using it as evidence, you would keep that until that case has been disposed of, until any appeals have been disposed of. And we don't get that many out here, so as far as being able to have room to keep that, most of that we should be able, our computers have enough space on them, but even if we did run into a problem where we didn't have enough space to keep what we needed to keep, we'd be able to get an external hard drive for that. That wouldn't be a problem, and it wouldn't be that much cost.
And again, we already reviewed the last month's report of what the revenue came in through our police department. So this is a tool that would help them.
Yes.
I would be most certainly in favor of looking at this. Bobby, you want to give any more comments on this?
Well, I'd like to add to that a little bit. I think as we move forward, approaching other townships for coverage and that sort of thing, it's more of a selling point. It's something that just covers our back and them too. So I think it's probably well worth it. As Sherry said, she does have the money in the budget. I'd like to think we'd get away with one camera, but I don't think that's gonna work.
No, I think we need two, especially if something happens to one of them, then
Yeah.
you have a backup.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I did want to ask you that question on the warranty.
Mhm.
You said it's a 12-month warranty.
Correct.
At the end of the 12 months, are you able to get an extended warranty?
We can buy, I don't know if you can get it at the end of 12 months or not. You can buy a 3-year warranty right now. At the beginning of it, I do know, and I believe he quoted me a price, I'd have to check, of $430 for each camera for an additional 3 years.
Because my question is, I don't know the durability of these things, how often they may break or whatever. If they're under the warranty, if you're involved in
An altercation.
an altercation and it gets broke, is it covered?
I'd have to check into that. I don't know. I'd have to check into that. I wouldn't want to say yes or no. I do know that the units that we saw seem very durable.
Yeah,
The
it
ones
is.
that I used in York City were not near as, didn't feel near as durable, let's put it that way.
These are pretty substantial.
They were,
Small little unit.
yeah, and the case that they're in, it reminds me a lot of, something like my radio mic is.
Mhm.
Something like that. So they seem to be pretty tough.
When he's mounted on the shoulder or mounted on the pocket?
You can mount them wherever you want. The mounts that we would get for them, if you would figure this was the camera, it's a little bit bigger than this, and it has a magnetic piece on it where I could put part of the magnetic piece, the receiver part, in my pocket or on my vest, anywhere I wanted on my vest, and then this sticks right to it. And believe me, he showed it to us, and it's got quite the magnetic field on it. And then there are also clips that you can buy extra for them. The magnet, he said you get one for each camera, and you can pick which one you want. The magnetic ones are really expensive, and it would be free. So he said if you want a different clip other than the magnetic one, order the magnetic one with your order for free, and then the other ones are like $20 a piece.
Right.
But these were expensive.
And how do they
So.
want to mount on your uniform in conjunction with your microphone?
Oh, in conjunction with this?
Yeah.
Well, like when I have my vest on, my mic is up here like
Oh,
this.
okay. All right.
And I think Chris and Brian both wear theirs the same way. And then there are enough spots that we have on our vests, either pockets or other places to attach stuff to, that, yeah, it won't be a problem to mount it. And again, you'll be able to mount it and then go out and play around with it and come back in here and download it and see, where the video is. Like, I'm not as tall as like Brian and Chris, for instance, so they might have theirs mounted lower on their vest than I would mine. I might mount mine higher just because of the. And plus, I think they had a really good.
It rotated a little bit.
Yeah, it rotated a little bit too. Plus, the line of sight on them was pretty good. It's a pretty.
It's a big field.
It's a pretty broad field on them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Bob, I'm sorry. go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, you had mentioned if the camera gets damaged by a defendant, then the court should order that
Yes.
as restitution.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, you can write that. You can write that up as a criminal mischief or something like that per se on a charge, and then
Yeah.
they would be required to pay restitution. That might take you 20 years to get it.
Yeah. Depending upon the defendant, that's right.
Correct.
Sometimes it does take a while.
Yeah.
Bob, do you have any questions for Sherry on this?
I think it sounds like a great idea to me, for all the reasons that have been mentioned, and I don't see any downside.
Okay. Well, Bob,
I'd like to make a motion that we do purchase these. My suggestion to that is the magnetic ones, because I think you're favoring those.
Yes.
If we opt to get a clip or something later down the road, if that works out, then we'll
Right.
cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think we should go with this quote, and Check into the warranty though.
Okay.
See what they'll do for 2 cams for 3 years and just confirm that
Yeah.
and what that
I have
does.
it in my email because he did, when I emailed him about if we could get, maybe make a deal where we got more of a warranty on it, try to barter with him. He was like, no, that's set in stone, that's part of the contract, but we do offer an extended warranty, and I'm pretty sure he said 3 years, $430, and that would be each camera, so that would be $860 on top of that, I think.
I will second that, and I would think we should put that in the motion too, the warranty. Then we probably would want to have it.
You wanna do the 3-year warranty then? Go ahead and put that in the motion.
Okay.
You can put that in the motion, Bobby, that
Yes, considering what we have involved here, I think at this point, the way electronics go, I feel that we should get a warranty on both of them, the extended warranty and be done with it.
Let me get a copy of that too and see what it looks like, just to make sure that it doesn't exclude anything.
Yeah.
okay.
Pending her
Pending
review.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, Sherry.
Thank you.
You're certainly welcome. The Greenview request from Washington Township, there will be an opportunity to look at it. Mr. Liskey, did you have a chance to look at that too?
No, I did not. Thank you.
There you go. How many other supervisors? Washington County, the development up on Glad Hill, they're asking permission from the township to include, as they go to Franklin County, to ask Franklin County to hook these existing homes that are potentially going to be in our township up to Franklin Township water and sewage.
It makes sense the way you explained it, but I think probably we ought to do something about checking it, whether there would be any impact on our township. I doubt there would be, but I would like not to find out about it after we approve it.
Right.
So I don't know who would do that, KPI or us or zoning guy or?
That's a good question.
Or,
No, I'm not doing it. It needs to come from probably the chairman.
no, we don't do the letter. I guess what the board is asking is there any impact to the township for writing this letter to?
Well,
I think it would be fairly quick to check it out, but if their septic system is right on the border between the 2 townships, and it fails and flows over into our township, that would be bad.
I don't know why do they need Liberty Township to request that Washington
I
Township?
spoke to Washington Township, Franklin County. They called me and they said that they verbally don't have a problem doing that, but they're not going to do it unless we send a letter to them requesting it. So that's why they put it back on Royer to request that Liberty Township, request that Washington Township support those.
So they don't want to step on our toes?
They don't. They want our permission. So basically, they want us to write them a letter saying,
They would give it
I mean, do you want to give them permission or do you want to say you don't object? I mean, all in the wording, it's up to you, but they're asking what?
If I'm understanding correctly too, they're not doing septic systems on lots.
No.
They would actually make them hook up to their.
Yeah, they're gonna hook up to the WTMA sewer system.
Right.
Are you all okay with that? I guess that's.
I don't know, because I don't know
Well,
the possible downside of it. I mean, is there any way it could fail and cause us problems?
Tell you what we'll do then, Mr. Jackson, do you think that we'll send this to KPI to look at and see if they have any issues with it?
But it's public sewer.
It's probably not.
So when you say fail, I mean, it's gonna go into the Washington Township treatment plant.
I'd say 90% sure that it wouldn't cause a problem. They're gonna have to hook up to it, that means interconnections and pipes and stuff like that.
Well, if Washington Township Municipal Authority feels as though they can't handle the sewer.
I'm sure they can handle it, it's the connection to their sewer.
Well, they'll have to follow the WTMA guidelines as far as connection and things like
Then
that.
maybe there's no risk at all, but that, I don't know about it.
Now, I guess you can send it to the engineer, but I'm telling you, there's very little risk. I mean, I don't say there's no risk. It's
Are you
extremely low
taking
risk.
back your refusal to investigate?
I don't think there's any, I was just wondering why,
I am too.
because in my opinion, I think if Washington Township wanted to, they could let them connect without your.
Without our-
I think that you're like you said, they don't want to step on our.
Yeah, I think there's.
These will be Liberty Township taxpayers, Liberty Township residents, and so.
And then we get benefit of,
So
they
they're-
go to a sewer system.
In Franklin County. And Franklin and Washington Township wants Liberty to say, hey, can you hook up these homes to your septic?
Hi, Jay.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Please.
How many of the total lots?
A lot.
Where they're asking for water to 6 lots, but what about the other lots that are in Liberty Township, and this hasn't even been approved or, accepted by the, planning commission?
No, they haven't submitted any plans yet.
They haven't submitted any plans that it's going to be in Liberty Township.
It was a prerequisite that they asked
Years
permission.
ago, and they were rejected by the township.
What's this?
She
Is
said,
that the year, Wendy?
What she just said?
she said it was,
It was not rejected. They put in a sketch plan in 2018 and asked for recommendations. And one of the recommendations is this requirement, that they get permission to hook up to Washington. She has her, yeah, she needs to not be there. She's up there.
Can you hear us?
Tell her to turn her volume off. Whoever's on the computer needs to turn the volume down.
Judy? Judy?
Yeah?
Can you have somebody turn off the volume of the computer because you're getting back the delay?
Oh, okay, I don't know, how do I do that? Let me see.
Only use the phone, she can't use the video.
Just use your phone.
just shut off everything else and turn it down other than the phone.
Oh.
There you go.
Turn on Bart computer, is that better?
Oh, yeah, that's good, that's good. So where we're at on this is they, apparently the drawing, I do remember the drawings now in 2018, that they made the proposal, but we didn't take any action on it. I don't think we rejected those drawings.
No, it was a sketch plan.
Yeah, sketch plan, yeah.
They were asking for recommendations. And in order for them to now resubmit the sketch plan, they need to get permission first that to even go forward, that Liberty will allow Washington Township to provide septic.
Public sewer.
Public sewer, I'm sorry.
What they're asking is for Liberty Township to give them permission to give them permission to allow public sewer in those lots in Liberty Township.
It's a total of 6.
Only in 6 of the lots.
Correct. Only in 6 of the lots. Actually, it's sewer and water to 5 of the lots and 1 on Staley Road, with a total of 6.
Right. The total lots are 80. What's the total lots that are gonna be in Liberty besides the 6?
They haven't gotten that far yet.
They're not at that place right now. They're only talking about these 6. Nothing else is on the table.
Okay.
Nothing else is on the table.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Well, in putting in sewer and water, what effect will that have on our roads? Any damage there? And is there's, how many of them? It's 5 of them are along Glad Hill.
5 along Glad Hill.
So are they gonna, I wouldn't see how, but by the same token, that would be a concern for me. We just paved that road.
We did. What do they need?
Good question.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think I would ask KPI for some input on this.
Yeah, that's what I earlier said. Maybe we need to let KPI weigh in on this and then give them a decision after that.
So we're gonna send it to KPI, and Wendy, make sure when you send that to KPI, ask them to check into the road issue.
what Mr. Kyle's just mentioned.
Yeah, we don't want potential damage on the newly paved road.
All right, so
So you wanna make a motion?
we'll make a motion that we send this off to KPI for review before we take action. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's what we'll do on that. All right, the next one is, H is our 2021 draft budget review. We're gonna have that meeting on the 19th. Hopefully, we have, I know Bob has already started and has put in some numbers. Bobby, I think, is.
Got mine, but we'll give them to Wendy.
Oh, Bobby's got his now, so, and I know Sherry has put in hers too.
Yep.
So,
I'm not changing them, but I'll have that before the next,
she's gonna make some changes. So anyhow, make sure you continue to review this, and if you have any changes, to your proposal in the budget, please let Wendy know, prior to the meeting, hopefully a couple of days, that way she can.
Yeah,
bring it
what,
back.
end of, what, next Friday?
Yeah,
The
next
Friday before would be
The
good.
Friday before. Also, this is just our general fund budget. We also need to be looking at the liquid fuels budget. So hopefully Wendy will get that out to us and we can put in our numbers in there. Because I have worked on the liquid fuels budget too. We also, Wendy, I instructed her today to reach out to the liquid fuels rep from PennDOT and set up an appointment for us to meet with him and go over some of the roads that we're proposing for 2021. And he can look us up a cost analysis to that. Any other comments? Anyone want to ask any questions about the budget as of right now?
7 PM on August 19th.
That's correct, August 19th. The public is invited to come out and be with us if you would like. We'd love to have your input. So, we will move on past the budget then. And the last thing we have is the Adams County tax sale on the Palmer property, which is over on Girl Scout Road. It's the wood lots over there that goes along the Girl Scout camp that are coming up for sale, at the sheriff's sale.
What's the name of that trail? Anybody know? I forget. I looked at it and I don't remember.
It's not on here,
Yeah,
it's not listed in the notice.
It has the people's address in Riverdale, but I didn't see it. The parcel ID number.
I looked it up, now I can't remember it.
I did too.
The parcel ID numbers on the.
Yeah, but what street is that?
It's a funny name, I know that.
Yeah, it sits back in. No big deal. I just thought maybe something.
Yeah, I can't remember at this time.
I can find it again.
I can look it up if I was at the list, but.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
All right, so,
Do you need to have, did you got requested an executive session for this, Mr.
No,
Lisco?
this doesn't have to be an executive session.
Oh, okay.
Warm needs to be executive session. No, this went for, a tax sale,
Okay,
and it didn't sell. There weren't any bids there, so now, it's going for, a sale within which all the liens would be discharged. Our tax liens, all the other liens, all mortgages, so whoever buys it will buy it free and clear, and we'll get a proportion. Taxes will be paid first, then the mortgages, and we'll get a portion. So I just need to, I mean, we could file, there's no legal basis to object to it. I mean, they went through the proper procedures. By they, I mean the county, the Adams County Tax Claim Bureau. They tried to sell it once, it didn't work, so now they're gonna sell it free and clear of all the liens, unless we object. But even if we object, they can still go ahead with it, so.
we make a motion that Adams County go ahead with the sale of this property without a rejection. Is that correct?
Without our objection, yeah.
Yeah.
so you're moving to not object, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, no.
We have no objections.
Okay.
Parsons Trail.
Yeah, Parsons Trail, that's the
Good
name.
job.
Parsons Trail property.
So, Mr. Barlow, you just made the motion,
Made a
correct?
motion, yep. It's 225 ADO-0115-000.
Yes, it's listed on the agenda.
Yeah, listed on the agenda, so, yeah, I make a motion that we, non-executive session.
Question, how much tax money is there?
$2,900.
$2,900.
Uh-huh.
That's total, that's school, county, and,
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's everything, okay.
Is that in here? I didn't even see it.
yeah, it's in your, I'm wrong. It's 24, 45, 18.
24.
45, 18 was the upset. See what I said? I don't know, why did I say 29?
24, 45.
Yeah, it's in paragraph 5 of the petition.
Okay. All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Right here it is. All in favor? Aye. Okay. That is the last thing on our agenda, guys, unless,
Motion to adjourn.
Well, exactly.
But you do need an executive session.
so we're gonna go to executive session to speak about Wormall. If you'd like to stick around, you can. If you're not, then we will adjourn this part of the meeting and we'll go into executive session.
Chief, are you gonna hang around?
Again,
We don't need you to.
okay.
Mr. Sweat, are you gonna take off?
No, you don't leave, we can't use this room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd like to use this. Okay. Have a good night.
I will attempt to do that.
How's Matt's doing? That's Dodgers, Brooklyn Dodgers.
That's what they do in baseball. It's coincidental.
Yeah, we just want to have it. It'll be 5 minutes.
Do you want to end the meeting?
Wait, she has to,
I want to end
No,
the meeting.
don't end the meeting.
Then
we have to do it. Because that runs the whole night.
I can't turn it on and off.
Oh, okay.
He's out.
Can we go in the other room?
I'm gonna set up with you in order to.
What?
I'm gonna have my
Please stand in the
for
salt
this is,
shed. Please go stand.
you're free.
Because we're paying the parking lot. You didn't hear that? They're closing all this.
Yeah, so after Monday.
Sometime next week, yeah.
Sometime next week, okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. It's about time I did something.
Why can't you just turn that off and then?
We can't.
Because I have to restart the entire meeting process. It's a live feed.
Oh,
Because I'm not at AV.
Come back, I don't know why we can't do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, we don't need, we're not.
Stay up then.
Huh?
Yeah, you just stay up.
All right, you guys, thanks,
Wendy.
see you, Mike.
thank you for your good work.
Thanks.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mr. Sly.
You're a little better, Mr. Kyle Hawks.
It's not when we're going to the closet anyway.
It don't matter. I'm out of here.
Okay.
There's one thing about that body camera, that point nobody brought up, I put a dash cam.
We're still live feeding.
Put a dash cam in my car, cost me $300. Kid hit a deer, was on camera. 1 week we had everything, we sent the
There you
evidence,
go.
boom, we got a check in a week.
It's awesome.
I mean, it's,
So it did, it worked out.
well, and I've got it for the prison society.
don't give them the handout. Do it after. Yeah, don't give it to them prior to reading it. Are you coming tomorrow?
I'll be in probably by 8:30, 8 or 8:30 tomorrow.
Why did Mr. want you here, Phil?
He didn't. He wanted me out of the room. That's why he asked me if I
He's
was
like,
leaving.
get up here. I forgot it's on video. See ya.
That's honorable, that's honorable, yeah.
Susan.
Susan. She's,
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that on video, thank you.
We adjourned
let's adjourn this meeting.
Yeah, we're adjourned this meeting.
Okay, during the executive,
Let me scoot by you, Bob.
I don't have to sit down there and do it there.
Okay, what time is it now?
It is 9:53.
9:53.
Coming out of adjourning your second executive session, reopening our board supervisors meeting. Just announced we had an executive session to discuss Wormhall and where we're at with that. There's still more investigation on the board's part before we take any official decision on that. That was the only thing discussed in executive session. So I'll make a motion for adjournment.
I second.
All in favor?
I do.
I do. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Hey, this up, Wendy?
Hold on, I gotta, yeah, hang on.